Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. It's absolutely a fantastic week wherever we are in this amazing globe of ours. I mean, we're all still sort of powering on with the year. I mean, isn't the year starting to fly? We're almost nearly at the end of February and we've just blinked and we've just got over the festive season. So before you know it, we'll be halfway through the year. So I just want to take this opportunity before we kick the show off to thank everybody that voted for me. I've been voted Australian Psychic of the Year again here in Australia, and it's a People's Choice Award. It's voted by the public. So it's my 6th year in a row. I feel incredibly blessed and humble, and I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Whether you voted for me or not, it's your love, it's your devotion, it's your continued support that keeps me going in this industry, because it's without you people we wouldn't have an industry. You know, we love to help you. We love to be able to sort of be a small part of your world. So thank you again. And, you know, it's just such an honour. I can't sort of say any more than that, but a humble and a very big thank you to everybody. So let's kick the show off with the Simply Tarot card of the week. And the Simply Tarot card of the week this week is the King of Pentacles. Now, I'm not sure that we've had this one featured on the show before. Usually when we have a court card like this, people sort of go, oh, you know, all of a sudden everything tenses up. How do I interpret this? Why would this come up in my reading? Why is this significant? How is it important to me? The general rule of thumb is when a court card comes up in a reading, when you're using more than one card, but in this instance, we're only using one card, it usually means somewhere in the next week to 10 days, someone of importance is going to come into your life. There'll be a message, a text, a phone call, a fax, whatever you want to call communication of some kind, or a physical visit from a person that fits this description. So what we look at is the colouring of the card, the age group of the card, and the gender of the card, to try and then to sort of assimilate who this person is and how they are prominent or important in our lives. Now, today I've drawn for the next week the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles is a dark-headed. Now, when I say dark-headed, I mean dark brown hair, black hair, hazel to brown eyes, Caucasian or olive-coloured skin. They don't always have dark skin. They can have dark skin. So it's somebody that we would consider dark in hair and eye colouring. The secondary meaning of this card is business. So it can be any sort of business arrangement, situation, deal, business person that you may be talking to. They can sometimes appear to be arrogant and sometimes very dominant. But when you work with a very powerful person in business, they usually do come across as being arrogant and dominant at times. They're usually very forthright in their opinions or the message that they're delivering to us, because we're going to them, after all, to seek some sort of advice. They are a person in authority. So if you don't know that any particular male of that description that you think that's going to be coming into your life in the next 7 days, can I suggest to you, look at it as more possibly doing business with somebody. And they don't necessarily have to be male, but we're looking at that energy of business, arrogance and dominance. So it's sort of like, if you need to get some advice in the next 7 to 10 days, then look for somebody that's in an authoritarian position, that's somebody that sort of, when they open their mouth, you feel immediately that they are an authority on what they're speaking about. So this week, for our little trip around the universe, I thought we'd do something slightly different. The sun's just gone into Pisces, and we don't normally talk about the sun sign energy and how that's going to affect us and why it affects us. So I thought we'd sort of shake things up and start talking about sun sign energy now as the sun moves into a sign each month, just so that we can get a little bit more of a general idea of what actually happens astrologically when something like this happens. So with the sun moving into Pisces, Pisces is actually the 12th sign of the zodiac, or the final sign. So it's almost like the astrological year is ending when the sun goes into Pisces. So some astrologers affectionately call Pisces the sign of the dustbin, where everything gathers, that it's very much sort of, you know, the ending, or sort of gathering everything up and putting it in the dustbin or the trash bin, ready to sort of purge it and start afresh. Well, that can be the case. I like to look at the Piscean energy in a very loving sort of way, because I feel it's one of the most creative signs. So it's a time of the year when we can all, no matter what sign we are, get our creative hat out of the wardrobe, get it out of the closet and sort of say, what creative solutions or ideas can I come up with? Is there creative, new, innovative ways that I can bring some freshness into my life? Is there something that I've always wanted to attempt to do? Is there a new project I'd like to start? This is the time to get those creative juices going. You know, have pad and pen, or have your device next to you so you can voice record your ideas as they come through. Be aware it can also be sometimes a very emotional time of the year, because anytime we work with a water sign, which is known as a passive energy, we quite often then are being asked to sort of go inside ourselves or deal with or look at our emotions. And for some people, they find that very foreign and very difficult, and they feel very uncomfortable with any time that they have to deal or process with anything emotional. And it can be difficult for some people. For other people, they find that they're a little bit more sensitive, they're more aware of their surroundings, they find a difficulty in falling asleep or staying asleep, or difficulty in concentrating. This is sometimes where the term daydreaming comes from. It's quite often connected to the water signs, and particularly the Pisces energy, because it is said to be the daydreamer of the zodiac, where they're sort of, you know, fantasizing how things could be. And I think the most amazing lesson that Pisceans can teach us, besides being gentle and kind to each other, is that there's always more than one solution to a problem. And Pisceans are very good at that. They go out into what's affectionately known as the Neptunian fog, look at the problem and come up with 3 or 4 or 10 different endings, and then pick the best one and bring it back, and that becomes their truth or their reality or what they're aiming for, because they always want to sort of end things on a way that everybody's sort of happy, that nobody's upset. And I think that's something that we could all learn to do, is to be a little bit more considerate of the people surrounding us or other people involved in situations, and not always looking about the I and how me, myself and I can be happy out of this. Let's look at everybody trying to be happy. So I feel that Piscean energy is a very important energy. I quite often term people that are born under the sign of Pisces, maybe, just maybe, don't have to come back here again and be reincarnated unless they choose to do so. And I don't believe that we all start our journey as an Aries and end up as a Pisces. I think we dartle over the zodiac throughout our incarnations. And, you know, Piscean people are incredibly creative. This is where some of our world's greatest storytellers and filmmakers and musicians come from the sign of Pisces. But it's also the sign where we quite often see people that can't handle the world too, that end up in institutions or become, you know, substance abusers or end up alcoholics, or also have a very strong Piscean influence in their chart. So not every Pisces on the planet is going to be a drug addict, alcoholic, and not be able to handle stress. I'm just saying, be aware of that. If you have a strong influence of Pisces in your chart, then you are more prone to that. So, you know, be aware of these things. But any sign can become an alcoholic. Any sign can step into drugs. I mean, it's not just one particular sign is more prone to that. I'm just saying it makes them more sensitive towards those sort of things. But I personally have a lot of Piscean friends, always have had. I find them very stimulating and great to be around, because they usually are, in a sense, childlike sometimes in the ways that they look at things, but sometimes being more simplistic is a better way to find a solution to a problem. It doesn't mean that they can't be mature and can't make adult decisions and live in the real world. They certainly can do that and do it with bells on, but they also have this other side where they can sort of escape into this childlike Peter Pan type of world, or into the Neptunian fog, and find an alternative solution, which I think we could all learn a lot from that. So that takes me on to the star sign of the week this week that we're featuring astrologically. We've been working our way through some famous actors and actresses around the globe, and this week we're up to the sign of Libra. Now, it's really interesting, I think, how sort of life sort of synchronizes with what you're doing. As I was just getting ready for this show and starting to write the information up that I was going to talk about, and I'm here in Australia, it's morning, and we have a program here called Sunrise, which I sort of try and grab of a morning to catch up on the world events. And just as I was about to walk into the office to start putting things up on my whiteboard, the person that I was going to feature in today's show actually came on. They were doing an interview with him about his latest film, musical film that he's doing, a stage production. And I forgot to grab the name of it. And it's the one and only Australia's most famous Hugh Jackman. So I thought that was really divine timing to have Hugh on the TV so that I could sort of tune into his energy as I was going to speak about him this morning. Now, for those of you that don't know who who Hugh Jackman is off the top of your head, let me refresh your memory. Hugh Jackman's been around for a very long time. He's a singer, a dancer. He's been on Broadway in many, many major films. He's won many industry awards. He is an Australian, but he lives in the US and has done for many years. Most of you will probably know him for his Guinness Book of World Records holding for the show that he's been in, the longest actor in a series, and he was. Now I've lost my train of thought. He was in Wolverine. He was Wolverine in the X-Files. So he holds a world record for that title, for that acting in a show like that as a horror film actor. So yes, he's done everything from romantic comedies. He's done lots and lots and lots of work over the years, many, many industry awards. But I think probably being a fellow Oz, I think my favourite performance of Hugh Jackman would have to be The Boy from Oz, featuring the story of Peter Allen. And Peter Allen was an amazing Australian singer who was married to Liza Minnelli, and I've always been a huge Peter Allen fan. And I haven't had the opportunity yet to see the show Boy from Oz, but I've seen snippets of it on the television, and he did Peter Allen justice. So, you know, that would probably be my favourite thing. I mean, look, Hugh Jackman, anytime he's in a movie, it's something that you know that's always going to be good quality. So let's move everything along. This week we're going to be working with what's actually sort of happening in the world. And this week I'm going to feature a candle that you're going to say to me, Amanda, well, look, you just talked about we've gone into the Piscean energy. Why are you featuring an Aquarian candle? Well, because we had so many other things to discuss on the show, I actually missed on sort of featuring the candle of the week, which was going to be the Aquarian candle. I never had opportunity. So even though we've just moved into the Piscean era, I'd still like to focus on the Aquarian energy on the Aquarian candle, because I think it's important for those people that might want to bring in some light bulb moments. If you're looking to create new ideas, to try and get your thinking back into level playing field, to sort of get things coming out of nowhere, you want some ideas with the snap of your fingers, then it's really important to work with the sign energy for that, because air sign is thought bubbles, is communication, is about clearing things out. And I think it's been sort of such a fast moving year this year so far that I think a lot of us haven't had time to really get our thoughts straight. So this is why I'm going to feature the air sign candle or the Aquarian candle this week. So if you've got some ideas that you want to sort of formulate, or you're struggling with a problem, jot it down on a piece of paper. Now, normally I say 3 things in, 3 things out. This week I'm going to say I'm going to leave it up to your imagination. And because it is an air sign candle, it works with Gemini, Libra and Aquarius, but I want to feature the Aquarian section this week, and it's because I think we all need to gather our thoughts. This year is moving so fast. So I know for many of you, there's been lots of things that you've let go of, you've dealt with emotional stuff, you've dealt with other things, so now's time to sort of maybe focus on what you'd like to draw towards you for this year. Have you got some new ideas? Are you stuck in a rut? Do you need to clear something out? Is something blocking you or preventing you from where you need to be going? Well, this is the perfect candle for that. Pop that information down on the piece of paper. Read it out aloud before you light your candle. Pop your candle on the list or your material underneath the candle on a coaster. As you go to light it, you've already read out the information. With these extra large candles, they have a dual wick system. So I light one side one day and one side the next day. This gives you a longer burn time. That's really important for those people that want to sort of start to bring some new thought bubbles into their life and bring some new energy into their life. I think that's very important. For those of you that don't wish to work with a flame, this is my suggestion, is a melt warmer. You can pick these up at a local department store or supermarket. Here in Australia, retail for around about $15. They are electric. I take 2 teaspoons of my soy out of my candle, pop it in the melt warmer into the little tray on the top, turn it on, read out your list out aloud again, popping it underneath the melt warmer, putting it on a coaster and never directly on the furniture. And then you can leave that safely going in your office or in your home all day. So this makes it an easier alternative rather than sort of burning a candle. For those of you that want a smaller pack, then we move on to our gift box set. This week I've made them up of 3 air sign candles, but you can choose anything that you like out of the range. We have 28 in the range, so you can make up your own gift box. These ones will burn for about 15 hours each, so they make them a very economical. Anybody that wants to sort of just start working with the magic of candles, or just has a very limited space. So let's get on and move the show along a little bit, and let's take our first caller, and it's Adele in Saskatchewan. I know I've pronounced that wrong, Adele. You're in Canada, so let's take your call, sweetie. Are you there, Adele?
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah,
Do you have
I'm
a question
here.
I can work with? Do you have a question I can work with, please?
Pardon me?
Do you have a
breaking up
question
a
I can
bit.
work with?
Yes, I was robbed here about 2 weeks ago, and I was wondering if I was going to get any of my stuff back.
No, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a terrible thing to have happened. The first thing that they're showing me
Yeah, it is horrible.
The first thing that they're showing me was, I do think this was a random robbery. I don't think it was somebody that knew you. So it wasn't as if they came in and knew exactly where to go for the items that they took. I think this was a random thing. And I'm going to say to you, I don't think it was children. I'm sort of picking up two young men, I'd say in their 20s.
Right.
Some of the things that they took, I know, are absolutely no consequence to them and mean absolutely nothing to them. I do feel you'll get some of the things back, but I don't feel all of it. You'll get some of it back. There's two particular things that you were really, really upset about, is there not?
I was very upset about the stuff that they stole. Yeah, they stole a Cindy Crawford makeup collection, and it was over $1,000, and they took everything out of the bathroom, all my makeup, so it had to be a woman involved.
Interestingly enough, I don't feel it was. I think it was two men.
I just wonder if police are going to be able to get it back.
Look, I know they'll get a couple of things back. I doubt very much you're going to get your Cindy Crawford collection back, because I think there's money to be made on that. I think they knew what they were looking for, but I still get two men. That doesn't mean that men don't know what they're looking for or weren't looking for something for their girlfriend or their wife, but I do think it was a random attack. I do think it was random. I don't think it was, they didn't sit there and watch your house or your premises for weeks, making sure that this is who they were going to rob. You were just random. You just happened to be the person that they happened to pick on.
Right.
So did the police say that they've got any leads on the situation?
They stole a bunch of my clothes, and you name it, they stole everything that they could.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But it was I still believe it was random. I don't think it was anybody that you knew or anybody that had deliberately set you up.
Because they took my cell phone and everything, and I had to pay ransom to get it back.
Well, the police should have been able to work on that then, if you had to pay a ransom to get it back.
Yeah, I know. That's
so the police
mean.
Don't have any ideas yet?
Not yet, no. No leads and no ideas yet, no.
Yeah, but I feel they will. I feel this is not...
Just the person that I reported who I got the phone from, that's it. Who I had to pay ransom for.
Right.
To get my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus phone back.
Right. But have they arrested that? Look, I'm sure the police will get a break
tonight and see that. And I hope that they're going to catch these criminals.
Yes, they will, but it's going to take them a little bit of time, but they will. But I'm just not sure, unfortunately, Adele, that you're going to get all your goodies back again. But anyway, I wish you luck, and I'm sorry that it happened to you. We're going to take our next caller now, which is Angel in Meriden in Connecticut in the USA. Are you there, Angel?
Yes, I am.
How can I help you this evening, Angel?
I was just wondering if you see my financial luck getting any better in 2019, because I've had a really bad past 2 years. I was homeless, living in a tent I just got myself an apartment. I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I'm waiting to hear if I'm going to get approved for disability. So I just want to know if there's any light at the end of the tunnel, because things have been pretty bleak and dark lately.
I'm sorry to hear that, Angel. Yeah, look, I do think this year is going to be marginally easier or better than what it was the last 2 years. I'm not saying that your finances are going to take a huge leap forward and you can all of a sudden, you know, just going spending money willy-nilly and not having to think about it. It's certainly far better than what it was, and this is important to know that things will be better than what they were. I'm seeing a major turning point in June, so I'm hoping you're going to tell me it's not going to take till June before you get approved for the disability. That should be through before then.
Okay.
I'm just what I'm sort of picking up around June is I was sort of feeling like a major turning point in, I've already got the disability in place. This was sort of like the next thing. I have an opportunity to get into affordable housing where I'm going to be able to stay long term. And it's like, oh, what a relief. You know, I can finally start to see that every angle of my life is starting to come together. And by being able to go into this affordable housing where you can stay long term, that enables you then to be able to sort of get on top of your finances so much quicker and in a much more stable sort of way that you can start to budget and get the things that you need in your life to make your life, you know, a hell of a lot better than what it has been. But also that you can see there'll be a little bit of extra there that you can, you know, treat yourself to a few little treasures occasionally along the way while you get yourself re-established. So it's good. So I really do think 2019 is a huge step forward from where you have been. But it's still sort of like, it feels like a struggle because it's like, as each, you know, as money flows in each month, it's like it's already got someone else's name on it because I've got it allocated to go to different things so that I can reestablish my lifestyle. But, you know, that's important too because that's a huge step forward of being able to, you know, buy yourself some furniture and buy yourself some clothes and all those sort of things. They're making you feel better as a person, Angel. So it's, you know, it is, yes, definitely an improvement financially, but it's also an improvement in every area of your life. And I think that's the important thing, that finally, you know, things are starting to turn the corner for you and it's not before time.
That would be amazing. It's been a rough 2 years for me.
Yeah, I'd even go probably back to 3 years, Angel, you know, when everything sort of started to go down the slippery dip backwards.
Yes, it's been so long. Like, everybody asks, like, what do you do for fun? What makes you happy? And I've been in such a bad place for so long. My answer is I honestly don't know anymore.
No, but you will, because as we start to get your life back into some sort of perspective, you know, like one little thread at a time, you will start to find that, you know, one day you'll wake up and you'll think, gee, I haven't experienced this in a long time. I feel joy in my stomach, and that's good. You know, it's sort of, you know, the birds are singing and I can hear them and I want to hear them, you know, where before if the birds were singing, it was like, it wasn't so much that you ignored it, but there was so much other stuff going on in your life. You didn't have time to stop and enjoy that or to enjoy the simpler things in life that other people take for granted. You were struggling trying to keep food in your tummy and to keep yourself safe. You know, the normal basic things that we should be able to take for granted, you had to fight for.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, so, you know, it's going to be nice to be able to sort of not have to concentrate on those sort of things and be able to focus on saving your money up to buy a couch to sit on and things like that that are exciting. So it's good.
All right, well, that sounds excellent.
You have a wonderful night, and Angel, and I keep you in my prayers, sweetie.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome. So we've come to the end of the show almost, but just as a little something I want to talk about before we go, as an extra special situation because of being not inducted into the Psychic Hall of Fame, that was many years ago now, but being awarded Australian Psyche of the Year for the 6th year in a row, I thought I'd take this opportunity to offer each and every one of you the opportunity to purchase our Simply Tarot sets, this one and the original set with DVD. I've discounted them at the moment on my site, And they've got a huge reduction in price, just to say thank you to people for all your support over the years. So if you want to head to my website, www.amandahallpsychic.com.au, it is only the Simply Tarot sets that are heavily discounted. And it's important that if you ever want to learn tarot, and they're the card I actually feature on the show each week, here's your opportunity to get in and grab a set before they go. Both sets are out of print currently and have been for a number of years now. So it's your last opportunity to grab these while you can, and discounted price. So on next week's show, we're going to be working with the new moon in Pisces. So that'll be an interesting show. So please join us for that next week. And for those of you that aren't familiar with, I have another show that I run on Facebook directly after this on my Amanda Hall page, if you want to join us for a little bit more about the sun in Aquarius. And next week we'll also be featuring our little trip around the universe. We'll be featuring our female actress in the sign of Libra. We'll also be featuring our Simply Tarot card of the week and our candle of the week. And it's going to be a bumper show as always, and we look forward to taking your calls. So for those of you who are having a little bit of a tricky issue with, family and friends at the moment, just keep strong. Keep remembering that, a smile and a little bit of kindness and a little bit of compassion goes a very, very long way in trying to resolve the issues that may be bothering you or someone else. It's always a very tricky time when emotions are involved in things. And I know that there's lots of people around the world that sort of wish that their lives were a little bit easier, a little bit less complicated. And I think it's sometimes I think we as human beings overcomplicate things. We work so very hard to achieve the material side of life, and we forget about the simple things like a simple smile or spending time with loved ones and friends is probably more important than that new gadget that we're so desperately working for. I know for me that, material things aren't as important as they once were. It's more about spending quality time with people and taking the time to have a conversation and smile and have just be there for people. So until next week, I hope you continue to smile and enjoy whatever you're doing for the week, and we'll do it all again in 7 days. Bye for now.